beginning of the story, we see a boy named Aryan whose family wants him to get married. Actually, Aryan was the only son of his parents. Hence, his mother wanted Aryan to get married soon, but Aryan could not get married. While sleeping, Aryan has a dream that he is married to a robot, and seeing this, he gets terrified. Aryan's family lives in Delhi, whereas Aryan lives in Mumbai because of his work. Aryan comes to his office, and we learn he is a robotic engineer at a robotics agency. Today, Aryan had a meeting with his boss, Urmila. Actually, Urmila is Aryan's boss and his aunt. Urmila tells him she is working on a new project, so she wants Aryan to come to America to learn about her project. After hearing this, Aryan is pleased and immediately goes to America because his family probably would have forced him to marry someone if he had stayed here. When Aryan goes to his aunt's office, he is shocked to see all the robots there. Aryan's aunt tells him she wants him to work with her on the upcoming projects, but she has to leave for a few days for a business meeting. She tells Aryan that her manager, Sifra, will take care of him, so Aryan should relax for 2 to 3 days, after which they will start their work. Aryan agrees and goes to Aunt's house, where Aryan is welcomed by a girl named Sifra, Urmila's manager. Nowadays, Sifra is taking excellent care of Aryan, and he is satisfied. Sifra even knows what kind of coffee he liked. Aryan is pleased with Sifra, so he tells her that he is going for a walk today and wants Sifra to come with him now. Sifra also agrees, after which Aryan takes her and goes out on the bike. Aryan rides a speedy bike, and Sifra also enjoys that ride. Aryan is very fond of seeing this because even after riding such a fast bike, Sifra is not scared. Sifra tells him that she can never be afraid. She starts flirting with Aryan, while Aryan also starts liking Sifra. They both kiss each other and get intimate. Sifra tells Aryan that her battery is low, so she must return to her room. Still, Aryan thinks Sifra is joking, so he starts romancing her again. The next morning, Aryan wakes up and prepares breakfast for Sifra, when suddenly his aunt Urmila arrives. Seeing Urmila, Aryan is shocked because Urmila was supposed to return during the evening. Upon entering the house, Urmila asks about Sifra. Aryan tells her that Sifra has a fever and is sleeping. After hearing this, Urmila gets a little doubtful, and she sees Sifra for herself. When she checks Sifra's room, Sifra is not there, so she goes to Aryan's room and finds Sifra lying on his bed. Aryan starts explaining to his aunt that they both started liking each other. This is why all this happened between them, and it is pretty normal for two young people. Aryan also tries to wake Sifra up, but seeing that Sifra is not waking up, he starts panicking. He rushes to call the doctor, but his aunt stops him, pointing out that Sifra's battery is down, so she must be charged. Only then will she wake up. After hearing this, Aryan is shocked because he does not know that the girl he fell in love with is not a human but a robot. Aryan understands that his Mansi had deliberately called him here. She wanted to test her robot and used Aryan as a guinea pig. Now Aryan gets very angry with his Mansi. So his Mansi explains to him that she just wanted to see if there is any flaw in her robot. Hearing everything, Aryan understands why Sifra took so much care of him. It was all programmed inside her. What she felt was not emotions, but just lines of code. Aryan could not understand why Sifra kissed him. His Mansi said that Sifra is capable of reading and distinguishing facial expressions. She understands what the other person wants. When she saw that Aryan liked her, Sifra kissed him. After hearing all this, Aryan cannot understand what to do next because he has fallen in love with Sifra, even though she is a robot. After learning that Sifra is a robot and has no feelings for Aryan, he returns home. Aryan's Mansi explains that they must conduct many more tests. She wants Aryan to help her, but Aryan's feelings for Sifra are getting in the way. Despite knowing she is a robot, he cannot forget Sifra, so he thinks it would not be right for him to stay there, after which Aryan returns to Mumbai. He tells his friend Montu about how he fell in love with Sifra. His friend Montu was also surprised to hear that Aryan had fallen in love with a robot. Aryan's mother calls him and tells him she has found a girl for him. Aryan also agrees to the marriage and goes to his home in Delhi, where Aryan's engagement is fixed. Still, on the engagement day, Aryan cannot forget Sifra, so he decides to run away. While Aryan is running away, his grandfather sees him. Aryan tells him that he has fallen in love with someone and cannot have this engagement. After hearing this, his grandfather helps him escape, after which Aryan runs away from there and comes to Mumbai. He calls his aunt and tells her that if she wants to launch Sifra in India, all future tests must be conducted there. Only then will they know whether Sifra can be launched in India. His aunt, although hesitant at first, also greatly likes this idea, and she sends Sifra to India. When Aryan sees Sifra, he can't help but feel immense joy. Aryan introduces Sifra to his friend Montu, and Montu also cannot believe that Sifra is a robot. This is probably because Sifra could also eat food like normal people. She has a storage area inside her where all the meals eaten are stored. Aryan was pleased to see Sifra and made her talk on a video call with his family. Aryan's mother was thrilled because Aryan had finally liked a girl. Actually, Aryan was planning to marry Sifra, so he prepares Sifra well, teaches her about the Indian norms and culture, and brings her to meet his family members. Aryan had already explained to Sifra how she had to behave, how she had to take shagan, and how she had to touch the feet of the older family members. Still, Sifra made small mistakes every time. For example, while touching feet, she also touched children's feet. Thankfully, Aryan handles everything. After meeting Sifra in person, Aryan's family also likes Sifra. When they ask Aryan about her family, Aryan tells him that Sifra is an orphan. After hearing this, Aryan's family decides that both of them should get married soon, after which the preparations for the engagement party start. Aryan's mother calls his Mansi and tells her that Aryan will get married to Sifra. After hearing this, Aryan's Mansi is completely taken aback, because unlike Aryan's family, she knows that Sifra is actually a robot. She explains to Aryan that he should not go through with the wedding, but Aryan insists he loves Sifra and wants her to stay with him. After hearing this, his aunt repeatedly reminds him that Sifra is just a robot. Still, Aryan does not listen to her and starts preparing for the marriage. They finalize their wedding date, and Aryan proposes to Sifra. She asks him if a robot and a human can ever get married. Aryan replies with a tacky comment, adding that it may not have happened before, but it will happen now. Upon hearing this, Sifra agrees to marry him. When Sifra gets ready on the day of the engagement party, Aryan's aunt sees Sifra and becomes very happy. She tells Sifra how she feels Sifra's beauty will cause a ruckus all over Delhi. Fast forward, the engagement event proceeds smoothly. The entire family is pleased to see Aryan get married to Sifra. After all, this is what they had all been waiting for this moment for so long. After the event, when it's time to pay the caterer, Aryan asks Sifra to transfer the amount to the caterers. When Dadaji says he would do everything himself, Aryan asks Sifra to cancel the payment. After the after party, Aryan and everyone drink together. Amidst all the drinking, Aryan excuses himself while intoxicated and goes to Sifra's room. While under the influence, initiates with Sifra. Sifra tells him she had an update. Aryan, due to the influence of alcohol, does not pay much attention to what she is saying and asks her to download the update. However, when Sifra downloads the software, her memory gets corrupted. She then forgets Aryan. Seeing this, Aryan cannot understand why this happened. Panicking, he calls his aunt and tells her about the situation. His aunt tells him that Sifra must have downloaded some kind of corrupt software, which caused her to lose her memory. Now, after hearing this, Aryan cannot figure out what to do next. His Mansi explains to him that she would give him a backup memory, but it will take 4 hours. Till then, Aryan is required to take care of Sifra. Unfortunately, Sifras can no longer recognize Aryan and his family. Still, for 4 hours, Aryan somehow manages to handle her. When Sifra's memory returns, she starts recognizing Aryan again. Now, seeing this, Aryan finally feels more relaxed. Before leaving the room, he tells Sifra that she should complete her charging. While Sifra is charging, a boy from the neighborhood enters and sees Sifra is alone inside the room through the window. After taking a closer look, he sees a wire connected to Sifra's wrist, so asks her about the wire. Sifra honestly tells him that she's charging herself because her battery is low. Upon hearing this, he immediately understands that Sifra is a robot. This revelation intrigues the boy, causing him to develop a liking for Sifra. Suddenly, he starts moving closer to kiss her. Sifra also understands that he wants to kiss her, so she prepares to reciprocate. But then, Aryan witnesses the scene and starts assaulting the boy. Aryan furiously chases the boy. He asks Sifra to catch the boy and to hang him from a building. Sifra also begins chasing the boy and holds him suspended in the air. Aryan threatens the boy, saying that if he ever tries to do something like this with Sifra again, or to tell anyone that Sifra is a robot, he will have her drop him from a building. The boy repeatedly apologizes to her and promises not to tell anyone anything about it. Then the boy leaves. Aryan is upset with Sifra regarding this matter. Sifra sees Aryan's expressions, and she understands that he is angry, so she consoles him by hugging him. After which, the tension between them settles down, and the celebration continues. Everyone is enjoying and having a good time. During the Sangeet, Aryan's aunt wants Sifra to dance to Dihak Dihak, but Aryan's mother asks her not to dance to that song. The event is going smoothly when suddenly Aryan's grandfather's health worsens, so Aryan tells Sifra to drive to the nearest hospital. Still, when he gets to their destination, he finds out they went to an animal hospital instead. Aryan realizes he had given incomplete commands to Sifra, which explains the error. Aryan then asks Sifra to change seats with him so he can drive instead. The scene shifts to inside a hospital where the doctor tells Aryan that his grandfather's blood pressure is low, which is why he had fainted. The doctor reassures him that his grandpa will be fine in a day or two. When Aryan meets his grandfather, the old man looks at him and smiles. He insists that Aryan should prepare for the wedding, and that by the time the preparations are done, he will feel much better. After hearing this, Aryan prepares for the wedding, while his grandfather recovers and eventually returns. After seeing his grandfather returning, Montu rushes to Sifra to tell her the good news. However, Sifra, upon hearing this, seems unfazed, as if this news meant nothing to her. After seeing her reaction, he goes to Aryan to tell him his concerns. He tells Aryan that Sifra lacks emotion, and this might create problems for them in the future. Upon hearing Montu, Aryan makes Sifra understand that she should care for his grandfather. After all, he is the eldest in the entire family. Now, the wedding day is coming, and Sifra is getting ready. After getting ready, she starts charging herself for the big event. However, due to a power outage, Sifra's motherboard becomes damaged. She suddenly starts behaving weirdly, almost as if she is possessed by someone else. Her voice becomes deeper, and her speech becomes slurred. Aryan's sister, who sees all of this, becomes very scared and runs away from Sifra's room. Meanwhile, in another room, Aryan's Mansi had just arrived. She came to the wedding to stop Aryan from marrying Sifra. Even after trying to convince Aryan for a long time, he is still adamant. His aunt, although hesitant, finally expresses approval. Upon hearing her, Aryan is filled with joy. Unfortunately, his happiness is cut short when his sister and Montu run towards him to tell him that Sifra is missing. The Mansi, upon hearing this, tells them all to relax. She reveals that Sifra has an inbuilt GPS tracker that can be used to find her location. However, when Armilla tries to track her, they find out the GPS was turned off. This might have been due to her motherboard being damaged. They all split up in hopes of trying to find Sifra. On the other hand, we see Sifra at the police station. Once in the past, Aryan told Sifra to go and register a complaint against him for eating her tomato, which he obviously meant sarcastically. Apparently, due to her damaged motherboard, she is now completing all the previous tasks that people had asked her for, but cancelled. When a police officer listens to Sifra, he assumes she is insane, so he writes her complaint and asks her to leave. Just after leaving the police station, Aryan gets a message that 4 lakh rupees have been deducted from his account and sent to the caterers. Now, seeing all this, Aryan finally understands that Sifra is completing her incomplete tasks. While thinking about this, everyone sees Sifra returning to the wedding venue. She starts dancing to D-Hack D-Hack because Aryan's aunt had asked her to dance to this song during another function. After completing her dance, she rushes over to the neighbor's house, where she sees the same boy who knew that Sifra was a robot. She goes after the boy because some time ago, Aryan had asked her to throw that boy down from the top of the building. Hence, she considers this to be an incomplete task as well. Sifra chases after the boy and follows him to the top of the building. Aryan tries to stop her by standing in front of her, but she just hits him and pushes him away. Eventually, she catches the boy, holds him suspended in the air, and then drops him from the top of the building. But that boy's life is saved because, luckily, there was a sofa below that broke his fall. After dropping the boy, she returns downstairs, picks up a torch, and lights it on fire. Upon seeing this, Aryan realizes that the last task she has to complete is the task his aunt gave her, setting Delhi on fire. As soon as she remembered this, Sifra starts setting fire everywhere because she had to set fire in Delhi today. Seeing that Delhi is about to be set on fire, Aryan understands how dangerous Sifra has become and tries to turn Sifra off, but nothing happens. After that, Aryan approaches with a sword and attacks Sifra. Due to this, Sifra's skin comes off, and everyone finds out that Sifra is a robot. He looks at Sifra one more time, and then he realizes that it is impossible for a human to marry a robot. He takes a deep breath and strikes Sifra on her head one more time, causing her to fall and shut down. Fast forward after 6 months, we see Armilla introducing her robots and telling everyone how these robots can greatly benefit them. Sifra is also among these robots. Turns out she had fixed Sifra and also deleted all her memories. Aryan, who is also present in the same exhibition, sees Sifra. But now he has gotten over her and come to terms with the fact that what she felt was not love, but a few lines of code and programming. While listening to the seminar, a girl approaches him. While talking to her, Aryan realizes that they have a long in common. He seems interested in her and agrees to go on a coffee date with her. After the girl leaves, Montu approaches Aryan and tells him that while he was talking to that girl, Sifra was observing him, as if she was jealous. Aryan looks at Sifra in shock, and she stares back at him.